What's up, folks? My name is Melvin, and welcome back to The Way We Play, Episode 5. And here I have...
Ricardo.
Max.
And Pearce.
And once again, I'm Melvin. I'm repeating that twice. I don't know why.
Good job.
Well, anyways, is there any, like, gaming announcements that you guys have heard that kind of made you excited or anything
EA
like that?
sucks.
EA? Okay. EA.
They shut down Visceral Studios.
What?
Oh, yeah,
Who
the
made,
people who made Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Oh.
Yep, they
And
shut that
others.
down. Well, that's the thing about EA and Activision. They have so many, like, other
Like,
companies, and we forget that. So, like, Dragon Age is made by, like, another company, and, like, you know, BioWare, they make Mass Effect games. So if their one franchise blows,
Then they're done.
then they're done. Dead Space 3 did not do as well as they thought would. So they're done. That company's done. That whole company's done. They can't do anything else, apparently. They can't just come up with a new IP and put them to make that game.
No, there's
Nope.
like, you do this thing. If you
Nope.
don't do it, then you're gone. Get out of
Nope.
here.
Once Minecraft stops making money, Mojang, done. Microsoft will get rid of Mojang instantly. Like that's the only reason why they bought them, right?
Is it Mojang that's still making all the...
Yeah, they bought Mojang. Microsoft bought Mojang.
Mm-hmm.
So Mojang is still... I don't think they're making any other games really or anything like that. Like I know if you check their website, like you can see a list of games, but I don't think they're really updating it or really paying attention to it. So
Not as much as Minecraft.
so yeah, but like that's how AAA companies work, unfortunately.
Bringing back Minecraft, do you really think they need to get rid of Minecraft? Like,
No, I'm saying I'm saying the moment Minecraft stops making money, Mojang is going to be out of business. They're going to stop. Like that's.
I would say it would take at least 10 years because they have all these products that they're coming out with that...
I mean, yeah, it's going to take a long time for that game to
merchandise.
like die down, but that's just an example.
But you really don't think these guys are even remotely capable of coming up with anything marketable?
No, well, okay. Marketable in EA's eyes, no. I don't think they will meet EA's expectations at all. That's the unfortunate thing. So I guess EA doesn't see any value in them anymore. But here's the thing, I think they do have value. I think they could do something, but EA I think is kind of lazy at this point because they are looking at a business perspective. They want to know how to spend the least amount of money to generate profit.
What do you mean? They're just going to come out with a new DLC for a game that's 10 years old that'll bring more money.
I mean,
Are we talking about Call of Duty here? Wait, has everyone heard about this? As long as we're talking about BS with publishers.
I love the second map pack of Call of Duty.
So, they're... Oh no, this is, you know what, now that I think about it, this is old news, but with Call of Duty, it was Call of Duty 4, it was a 10-year-old game.
Yeah.
And they re-released it. I think you could only get the remaster, which apparently was not all that well remastered, if you bought Infinite Warfare, which was the worst selling so far.
Yep.
And on top of that, on top of repackaging and reselling a 10-year-old game, they shoehorn, you know, microtransactions into something you're already paying for. It's like, you know, you've got, usually that's the free-to-play model. You don't pay for the game, so you pay for microtransactions. But it's like you're paying to pay.
Yeah, not only are you paying the extra for, you know, to play Call of Duty 4, there are microtransactions within those two versions. It's insane. So you're paying $100 like just to play a game full of microtransactions, and I feel like that's some shady stuff. It's really shady.
Is it really worth it though, buying all those microtransactions? I mean, does it level you up? Like, does it do really anything that makes the game much better?
Where it like doubles your XP for like a certain amount of time. There are stuff. I remember when Mountain Dew did that for Call of Duty. That made them so much money.
I stopped playing after Black Ops 2 because it was getting ridiculous.
I remember everyone was buying like just cans and cans of Mountain Dew, and they would all get together and like people were insane about like Mountain Dew and Call of Duty. Like you know, like when people combine two things, like usually you say to yourself like maybe it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like mixing peanut butter and pizza. You know, those are two delicious things. They don't work well together. I think the same thing with Mountain Dew and Call of Duty.
I would say pineapples and pizza.
Don't even go there. Don't go there.
But yeah, so like Mountain Dew and Call of Duty, like those are just two things I just don't see mixing.
I see it mixing though, because a lot of people that are gaming, they gotta stay up late. They need the drink to keep their body going.
Didn't Destiny 2 do a promotion with Totino's?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, they did.
So where are the pizza rolls? Where are the pizza rolls?
Yeah. It's like, what do these things have to do with each other? I don't know.
But you can mix them up,
I guess they just assume that all gamers are, fat people who need a constant influx of snack food.
Yeah, I guess.
Subpar snack food at that.
So yeah, that was like one of the...
I'm not going to lie.
That's one of the original microtransactions.
I definitely eat the whole time I'm playing games. It's out of habit now. So pizza rolls, I can see why they do it.
For those of us who are not in the room,
Pearce is
Pearce is a reasonably sized man. We're not just trying to break the stereotype here.
I'm a petite male. Yes. We're just gonna put it out there.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt here.
Well, yes. It had to be
Yes, we're
said.
giving you a great description right now.
Everyone knows that you look like the details.
Yes. So, yes. Any other interesting news that you guys heard of anywhere online?
Well, I heard that just now, TF2 is going to get an update that has some, Valve also, helped have a hand in. So it's going to be the Mercenary Park, which is instead of all the other places where it's basically desert and stuff.
I just remembered I should actually play TF2 because they do something really good during the holiday weekend, right?
Yeah.
They do a lot of great things.
Like in Halloween.
It's a lot. It's actually a really fun time, and they change the themes of some of their... So I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to play it, but I might play something else. I'm going to bring it up later on, but there's another game that's going to have a Halloween update that involves going outside and walking. So that's your little tip for now of the game. But yeah, so I don't know which one to... maybe I'll do both, but yeah. So that's anything else with that update or no?
Right now there's just now the new big update's announced. It's not really too much.
Are you excited for the update?
I'm excited for the update. It looks pretty good.
I mean, you're excited for any update from TF2.
Yeah,
in general.
Pretty much. Anyone, just to see how it turns out when it actually comes out. Hopefully, it's not subpar.
So, and then apparently, Nintendo is going Broadway now because they released a song. They released a video to their song.
A video?
Yes, it's. Gosh, it's Mario just dancing to his theme song for Mario Odyssey. So that's interesting.
All right, real talk though. I would go to Zelda on Broadway.
I wanted to see their Zelda orchestra concert. I really wanted to go see.
No, but I'm talking full production, do a Legend of Zelda game in Broadway form. You can have a bunch of people standing on each other's shoulders for a boss fight or something. What I don't know.
I think that'd be kind of funny. I think it'd be better off being made in a high production movie.
Well, I actually bought all the Zelda mangas that have ever been released.
I did not know those existed.
Yeah, they exist. You could get it all as a combo. I think I spent $50 on all of them because they are kind of old. But yeah,
are they good? Was it worth it?
If you're a fan, they're worth it. It's just fun seeing it. But the story goes by much faster than in the obviously it's gonna go by much faster. So it's gonna be weird reading Ocarina of Time and finishing it in 2 hours because it's almost impossible to do that. Even speed running, it's kind of impossible to beat Ocarina of Time in 2 hours. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's anything else? Any other news?
All right. I can't get by without talking about this Assassin's Creed thing.
Oh, yeah, that's actually what we were going to start talking about. So you actually did a nice job segueing. So
I'm
do you? I guess you want to talk about it.
Yeah,
then.
I do.
Okay, all right. So you can start.
For years we've had publishers just trying to get people to pre-order. People are kind of starting to figure out wait, why do I pre-order this? They're not going to run out.
No,
they won't possibly run out, especially now with all the online sales. So they need to add extra incentives to pre-order. We get pre-order bonuses, and they're look at all these extra things you could get. And the first time we really had a problem with that was Mass Effect 3. With day one DLC preloaded onto your disc, if you did not get, I think that was a pre-order bonus. Yeah, if you didn't pre-order it, or maybe it was a deluxe edition, you didn't get that DLC. You didn't get the follower that came with it. And people are naturally upset about that. But today that's pretty normal. But they've always
especially with GameStop, they're known for pre-order bonuses
because that's their whole business. Where else do they make money?
Yeah.
The whole idea behind it is once you pre-order a game, you have made a plan. You have committed to purchasing this game, and no financial strife or if a bad review comes out, if it's a copy that happens to still send review copies ahead of release, unlike Bethesda. That's a whole nother can of worms. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like here's the thing. Pre-orders are basically seen as confirmed sales.
Yeah.
So if you can get 1 million pre-orders before the game even comes out, that's showing that you have some pretty big cojones there, and you can kind of show off to investors to actually get more money to produce more games. So that's kind of what it is. It's just a numbers game. It's just to look good to other people so that you can basically keep your company #1. So if 1 million people pre-order Assassin's Creed, everyone's going to be talking about it. So.
And and again, it increases the hype around the game. Like, have you ordered the new Assassin's Creed yet?
Oh yeah. It also brings hype before even like it's a great conversation starter. Hey, I pre-ordered this game. I think it's going to be great. I get this extra mission, and then that brings people close, around. Like, hey guys, you want to come over? I'm going to play this bonus mission right now, and everyone's going to be like, whoa, man, it looks so cool. Like now I have to go. It's like, you have to go to GameStop to get it. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build hype. But this is one of the first instances where it almost immediately came back and bit them right where it hurts.
Are they actually? We should.
Do you want Ricardo? Please find the ad and tell me
right
exactly
here,
what
actually.
You have it. Okay.
Look, it's the way that they did it.
The way they did it too.
It was just, oh my god, why?
There's a camel on it too, kind of giving you a derp face.
Well,
and it says,
read the words.
Okay, well, it's a camel.
First, it was like the guy.
And it says, "Sorry, the bonus mission is blocked unless you pre-order Assassin's Creed Oranges." It's like, sorry, like it's not even. It's not even trying
just
to
wait 3 months later down the road and it'll be open for you.
It actually just makes me mad at GameStop rather than like, oh, I have to get the game. I don't even care about Assassin's Creed, so personally, yeah.
Can we all, from the top of our heads, can we all at once recite GameStop's motto? Power to the players. I don't think so. No. This sounds like screw the players.
I haven't shopped at GameStop in probably like 4 or 5 years.
Keep it that way.
Yeah.
The last time I shopped at GameStop was, I actually remember the game. It was Kingdom Hearts 365 Days Over 2 for my birthday. That was the last time. No, not my birthday, for Christmas. I got it as a Christmas gift. And so it was like $40. No, that wasn't the last time. I got, gosh, what's that? Spirit Tracks. I got Spirit Tracks. So it was a used game for like $20. That's the last time I spent money.
It's too bad GameStop doesn't invest in putting in like computer parts or something that's actually people.
Well, they're focusing. Yeah. They're trying to shift their focus to selling phones and tablets. Actually, I had a friend who worked at GameStop.
Do I hear Radio Shack in the future?
I had a friend who worked at GameStop. The Wi-Fi password for GameStop was at their store, and I think it was at others at the time, sell more tablets. You had to type that every time you logged into your own store's Wi-Fi. And
they tried a lot of different business ventures, and I don't know if any of them worked.
Yeah, because the physical game business is just declining.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, guys. Do you guys know that GameStop was actually trying for a long time? I think they're still doing it, but they're not really advertising it as much. Did you guys know that they were trying to sell like retro games and retro consoles? Were you guys aware of that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, so for GameStop for a good long time, like they did a nice job advertising it, that they were selling like NES games, SNES games. So these are games and consoles that were sold in like the late 80s and early 90s, and they were trying to sell it to you again.
So they probably bought all the games when they were getting like $1 per game, and now they're upcharging them all. They probably had them in a storage.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They can heavily upcharge games. They're not gonna like, like that's the thing, that they get them from players for super cheap prices because they're old. Like GameStop, how they look at games is their age. The older the game is, the less they have to charge you. Unless the game is a good franchise or a good notoriety.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
They're still not going to give you that much. Mainly your value comes from GameStop credits. Like you get $30 in GameStop credits. That's enough for like one used games. But if you give me another game, that's $60 in GameStop credits. Like that's you're probably not going to get that much for 2 used games. But again, they have so they do have a good number of
that's terrible
used games that they were trying to sell for retro games. So Dreamcast, I don't even know if they did Sega Saturn. I don't really think so. But like Sega Genesis, SNES, things like that. But one of the problems was that there was a good amount of times where people were buying games and they were really expensive. Like people were buying them and they were like $100, and the games weren't accurate. They got jibbed. GameStop got jibbed, and they sold it to people, and then they got jibbed. So yeah, that's what happened. A bunch of retro gamers got the wrong, because one of the things about cartridges is that it's actually kind of easy to just switch the cartridge to another game.
Oh yeah, it's a sticker.
It's
a sticker, and it's just a
screwdriver.
It's just a case. It's just a case around the computer that's inside. Just switch that, and no one's even gonna know until they play it themselves.
Yeah, literally a sticker.
Yeah,
you don't even need to do anything with a screwdriver. You just
Yeah.
It's like basic counterfeit strategies, but
and
we're not teaching you how to do that, guys.
GameStop said that they checked every single games, but sometimes they couldn't check. Sometimes it was obvious that they didn't check because some of the gamers got jibbed. GameStop was nice enough to sometimes say, okay, we made a mistake, we'll return it, we'll refund you for everything.
You mean always? I hope.
I mean, I'm hoping always, but I think sometimes players were just unfortunate. I think they have different rules for buying and selling retro games. But yeah, they've been doing that for a long time, and that didn't work. But they didn't get that much negative feedback. This Assassin's Creed ad, this got almost immediate negative feedback, and that's crazy. Like, I know it's fun to make fun of it's so much fun to make fun of GameStop, but I've never seen GameStop be made fun of this harshly before.
And if you ever look at their social media stuff, their Twitter and their Facebook, those guys are ruthless. Whoever they've got behind the wheel on their social media are just
You know what's funny? On their social media, do you guys know who Jim Sterling is?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
They were making fun of Jim Sterling on their social media. Like whenever people were asking GameStop questions, they were like, I don't know, ask Jim Sterling. He has all the answers. They were doing it in a sarcastic way, but it's so funny because like now it's obvious
salty.
that like Jim Sterling made an impact on GameStop and they are aware of him. So if you guys don't know Jim Sterling, he's just an independent gaming journalist, and he talks about bad practices in the gaming industry, and GameStop is a part of that a lot of the time. So yeah. So Jim Sterling talks about GameStop a lot of the times. Not a super bunch, but enough to get GameStop pissed. So, but like, yeah, what do you guys see as like the worst part of this advertising? I think the worst part is like sorry.
Well, it's just kind of like they're assuming.
Like, they're kind of making fun of me for not buying. Like, they know I'm not going to buy, and they're like, sorry. No, yeah, what are you going to do?
I think they're just kind of assuming that it's everyone's responsibility to pre-order. They're putting that on the player, and it sets a really bad precedent. Like, at this rate, we're not going to be able to get the games unless we pre-order them, and then they're going to be charging a premium to sell them later on or something like that. That might be a little extreme, but obviously this says to me that they are not they're not making any plans of... I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Like what? To like gain a good relationship with their audience?
They're just gonna keep pushing this as far as they can until finally people stop buying them, because that's the thing. With
GameStop is not in a good position right now. They're not in a good position. They've tried almost every other venture.
This is not going to help.
Nothing. Yeah, so basically they're on thin ice pretty much. They're kind of in the same position that Sony is in, where it's like if they change their trajectory, they're almost immediately going to fail. Because like right now they're in a good spot. They're both in a good GameStop and Sony. They're both in a good spot. But if anything bad happens, done. They're done. And we'll never hear from them again. They'll never try anything else.
I would not. I wouldn't mind.
So yeah. But we'll see. Nothing really horrible has happened to them yet. They've gotten a lot of controversy, but we don't know what that means for them yet. They haven't really said anything about it.
I'm looking on their website right now, and it seems like GameStop is just trying to push like their more of their little like trinkets for like different games and stuff, instead of actually the games.
Who goes to GameStop to buy a game today? Unless you've pre-ordered some, giant collector's edition, gold edition, whatever.
It costs you $300.
Yeah. Boy. Unless you've done that, there's really no reason to go in. And I understand collecting the cases. I like having cases when I can. I'm a PC player mainly, so I don't get that usually. So when I do play a console, I want to have a nice row of games. They're nice to have, but for by and large, there's no reason to go into GameStop, which is why they want to sell tablets. They want to sell retro games, which somehow I didn't hear about. They want to sell like your what do you call them, Amiibos or your Skylanders.
Yeah, they're trying to sell you physical
They got
items.
Pokemon cards as well.
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
I actually never knew that.
Yeah.
I know they sell a lot of like shirts that Hot Topic would sell and stuff like that. Like, I know they do that, but again, I don't know how much success they
Flawless
have. Again,
business
most
model.
people I see in GameStops are like people like. It's like these
It's
so like it's
kids.
like people my age with like little cousins around 9 to 10 who can't afford, or no, they're not old enough to get Call of Duty, so they need them to come in with them.
Or they don't have a
actually-
credit card, so they can't
Yeah.
order it online. So they
Online,
go in with their birthday money and they go and buy the hottest game, or they buy the used game that somebody is done playing now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, like I'm gonna give advice for anyone out there. Like, if you really want to get new games at an affordable price, just get Prime and then just order games new, because they instantly give you 20% off for new games.
That you pre-order.
Like
I believe,
yeah,
right?
that you pre-order, you get like 20% off instantly.
I don't even go to GameStop anymore. I just go on Steam and buy the game right away. I don't have to leave my house.
I pretty much just use Steam too.
It's also instant.
Most of my games are digital because I am a PC guy now, so it's like I don't really need.
What's really
physical.
sad, I think the only thing really keeping GameStop afloat at this point is the used game market. And thank God that both PS4 and eventually Microsoft also, they decided to keep used games around.
Yeah.
Because I remember Microsoft at first, they were going to have, DRM, you buy your
yeah.
copy,
Oh my God.
and only you can use that copy. And it's like that on PC, but the thing about PC is we have all of these clients that give us great sales.
Yeah,
you
that's
look at
the
the
thing.
online marketplaces for on your Wii and your PS4 on your Xbone. It's like you don't. Not only is it a low quality service in comparison, you're not getting these deals all the time. So you do end up, even though you can't get used games on PC, at least with new ones, you end up
You have
saving
so
money.
many options on PC. I don't think
Right.
it really matters. Like, if you can't pay $60 for one game, there are so many other games.
There's a lot of free games.
There's a lot of free
So
games
much.
too. Yeah.
And there's a lot of good free games.
So it's like, yeah, so that's the thing. You can either buy the $60 game, or you can just play 50 games for free. You can do that. So that it doesn't really matter that if games are used or not, because there's just so much out there. And kind of PC games do benefit from being free. They get a ton of attention if there's a free. Like I remember one time I was watching this one video of these people playing Kahoot, like in a high school. And it was like 150 players.
What's a Kahoot?
Kahoot, I don't really know what Kahoot. It's like it's a browser game. I saw a streamer play it, Etika, but yeah, like people benefit from having their games be readily available because that's how they get the most attention on PC.
RuneScape's the best example of that.
Yeah.
Back to middle
it's so
school.
rudimentary. It's literally made in Java, which no browser remaining even supports Java anymore. It's such a low tech thing. And so now if you want to play RuneScape, you've got to download the game, which is not how it was made.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, like, you make a game that's at least partially free,
people will play it.
people will play it. and
RuneScape does
enough of
everything
them will
wrong,
pay
and yet
for it.
people play it. That's
they still play it. Is what's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's pretty much. And speaking of a lot of players playing games, so do you guys know about Cuphead and its success recently?
There's a guy who has a cup for a head, and he does the thing.
Yeah, basically there's a cup with a head, and he stops other objects with weirdly shaped heads. But anyways, so with Cuphead, it is this indie game, made by a small group of people, and it was trying to come out for the longest time. And people, like, honestly, I forgot about the game. I thought, like, oh, this game's never gonna come out. It's gonna be like one of those Kickstarter games where it's like, oh, it's so hyped up, and then it's just gonna end up being horrible. But like, no, pretty much everyone's expectations of the games were matched, which means people kept buying it to the point where it sold 1 million copies in less than 2 weeks. That is insane. Not just for indie games. Yes, congratulations, Cuphead. Nice job.
I guess I can clap.
Seriously, AAA developers want those numbers. Those are the numbers you want. That's why they try so hard to pre-order, because they want those high numbers. But Cuphead didn't even need to do pre-orders. People just bought it as soon as the game came out, and within 2 weeks, bam, 1 million copies.
The other really important thing to note on this, did anyone see an advertising campaign for Cuphead?
I had no idea.
It
what
was just
Cuphead
word of
was.
mouth streamers. That's the kind of thing.
I seriously had no idea what it was until I look on Steam and it's the top selling game for like the first day it was out.
People associate AAA with primarily, I think, budget. Budget and quality, at least aesthetic quality. But so much of that budget goes into marketing. A huge amount of that budget goes into marketing because they know if they market a terrible game well, it's going to sell well, and it really doesn't matter. This, again, vote with your wallets, because even if a game's terrible, if it sells enough, they're going to make a sequel. And that's... So this game, this and Hellblade, no marketing whatsoever.
It's just word of mouth. They rely heavily on their fan base.
It's a unique game with a unique character that people are going to want to play just because it stands out. And these two games absolutely stand out. The sales reflect that, and AAA publishers need to be scared of this.
You know what really helped?
No, they should be proud of. They should see that this is the way. This is the next way to sort of develop and make games.
Well, the next way to develop games, if that's the case, does not involve them. They're being cut out of the process.
Yeah, they should be scared in that way. But AAA developers, they can change. They can be like. They can. I don't think EA and Activision can, but I know
Warner Brothers. Those are lost causes.
They're kind of on that downward slope.
Everyone's talking about Shadow of War now with the loot boxes. Something we didn't talk about in the last podcast. There was a day one DLC for the Shadow of War developer who had died.
Oh yes. My god!
I never.
First of all, they charged $5 for it.
Yes.
And they said, donation, purchases go to the developer's family, which is that's awesome. That's something I like to hear. But first of all, I think. Does anyone remember the ratio that went to the...
I can explain it to you because I did some research on this. I wanted to know what was happening because it was pretty messed up. There were like 5 states. It's like a number. It's like between 1 and 5 states in the United States where that they could not use that as donation money. And anywhere outside of the United States too, they could not use that as donation.
So only
money.
U.S. sales, which means the whole rest of the world.
Yes,
I don't know what those numbers are, but
it was only $3.50. It was only $3.50.
Oh, right.
$3.50 out of those $5 were actually given.
And it did not cost that much money to produce this one guy who's gonna, it's just spitting on the guy's grave.
So
and they hid this in the fine print,
and
it was so small.
But
nobody
then
would see
here's the thing: they came out and they were honest afterwards. They were saying like, okay, the reason why we didn't want to say anything because we could have gotten in legal trouble. If we actually donated that money, we had to consider it being profits in order for us to actually have that money and say, oh, we were going to give him the $5 later. We were going to give it later, but we couldn't say that up front. Like that's what they said. But here's the thing. Here's what they did afterwards. Afterwards, they just said, okay, we're going to make the DLC free, and then every time someone downloads the DLC, we're going to consider that $5 to give to the family. So why didn't they just do that in the first place? Why not?
Yeah.
That's the real question. Like, or why not say, okay, or like have some sort of link on the Steam page where they can donate straight to the family. Like I think they did do that, but why didn't they just focus on that more heavily?
Well, if this had been a free DLC to begin with, just like cool little thing to honor the guy who put his heart and soul into this game, that would have been great. But they had to muck it all up, and I think there were other ways they could have done it. I think they were just lazy.
Yeah, I think that's what.
There
could have been something where it's like, okay, give us $5 and we'll give you like the download code, like something like that. I don't know, like something where it's like we can see the money being given to the fund.
The whole thing is just ingenuine.
But they could have done it a different way. They could have taken the $3.50.
Prove to us that you donated to the campaign, and we'll give you a download code or something like that. They could have.
They could have taken the money, even though it was. The $3.50, and then they take the rest of it, and they could have done something else. It could still be considered a profit for the company, but they could have done like, hey, we'll we'll throw you like every year like not a party, but like something to celebrate your the life and what your son has done. You know, like
yeah, something. Like they could have. I feel like they could have gone one step beyond for this person. So I don't know if you guys know exactly who this was, but he was the executive producer. Yeah, he was the executive producer. I wanted to get that right of Shadow of the first game, Shadow of Mordor, and then unfortunately he passed away, and it was unfortunate. Many people missed him and they loved him, and they wanted to immortalize him. I don't know whose decision it was. For the donate the $5 to and then give to the family. I don't know who. I know they wanted. I know everyone on the team wanted to give him money somehow. Yeah. But I don't know who decided on that. But it was just a poorly run campaign. I like to give the devs. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I want to give the devs the benefit of the doubt most of the time because look at the loot boxes. Like, what game developer made this game and said, okay, now I want people to be able to skip the game I just made to suck more money out of their wallets? I don't think that's the devs. I think that's Warner Brothers.
I really don't think that's the devs.
I doubt it too.
And so many of the times when you've got microtransactions in single-player games especially, you can tell, like, the game was not designed with this in mind.
Yeah.
Going back to Dead Space, the microtransaction... The microtransactions in Dead Space 3, that was 3, right?
Yes. That's the bad one.
You could tell, like, they had to shoehorn all this stuff in that wouldn't have been in the game to start with in order to make the microtransactions fit. Okay, now, the reason I bring this up is, does everyone remember the controversy with Shadow of Mordor, the first one?
The first one?
I don't remember.
I remember, okay, are you talking about the review scores?
No.
You don't? Okay, so
they Warner Brothers, the publishers here, they went around to popular YouTubers and had them promote Shadow of War. They gave them a strict set of specifications.
Yes.
What you have to say about the game.
Yes.
Specifications for your video, and they also part of the instructions was you cannot disclose that this is a promotion. That's illegal.
That's illegal.
That's against the law.
That's very illegal. Not to mention incredibly dishonest to your consumers.
Even online, that's illegal.
So this, it's easy to forget because Shadow of Mordor and the new one, these are both critically acclaimed games, especially by IGN. What's not? And just had to throw that one in there. But all throughout, it's been steeped in controversy.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. They're such great they're one of the most highly acclaimed games of the new generation, and yet they have so much controversy towards them, and it's so weird. And I think it has to do completely with Warner Brothers. I think they're just horrible at managing their games. When it's not Lego games, they do a horrible job managing their AAA games. But they make some of the best AAA games of the past two generations. So Batman, there's like Arkham. What was it? What was that new one? Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight. Like that was a great game that got ruined because they own the company that they hired to make the PC version only had 6 weeks or something like that. Some incredibly or like 6 months, like an incredibly short amount of time to port the game. But they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to. And Shadow of Mordor didn't have to. They could have just given review copies to these Let's Players and it would have been fine. And they should know how to properly say this is an advertisement. They should know. But no, they wanted to get their greedy little hands in there for no reason.
I don't know why. It just goes to show the gap between the publisher and the developer, because the developer should know if they've got a good game or not. Like, you look at Hello Games, No Man's Sky. Obviously, they knew they had an unfinished shell of a game that was never going to sell well, so they lied and they lied and they lied, and the game sold tons of copies. They're probably never going to make a game again because their name is ruined. But look at all the money they made. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Just because the game was bad doesn't mean that they have to give that money back. And this goes back, I mentioned earlier Bethesda does not send out review copies before before the launch anymore. And this happened before.
You know, Shadow of Mordor did that too, right?
Oh no,
and that got through. That gave it even more controversy because again, it was a critically acclaimed game, and no one was getting review copies for it, and people were like, "Why?"
Bethesda made this. They made this announcement right before Doom came out, which Doom people are already doubtful that Doom was going to be good because of that multiplayer beta, especially. It was awful. It was just not good.
Yeah.
People were not looking forward to the game. It was already a reboot of a game in a style that went out of style decades ago. I think we're at literal multiple decades now. Like the last classic FPS game reboot that was attempted was Duke Nukem Forever. Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
But Doom was great. It was my favorite game of the whole year.
Yeah, it's a great game.
But they make everyone doubt it even more. And the thing,
they make audiences lose trust. That's the main thing. It's gaining the trust. And like here's the thing. Everyone had good reason, like I'm going back to Cuphead, everyone had good reason to think that game was a flop. But people had faith in that game because the devs were just being as honest as they could be. It's going to take time. It will get to you shortly. But no, the gaming industry is just used to lying so much. They are used to lying. One of the best examples was the PSP Go. When the design was leaked, Sony lied. They just lied and said, "Oh no, that's not what the design's going to look like." And then once they announced it,
that's what it
looked
like.
exactly like the announcement the leak said. They lied for no reason. So the gaming industry, for some reason, out of all other industries I can think of in terms of entertainment, they're used to lying to us. We know when they're lying, but they just don't care. Like
why would they care?
That's
because
the nature.
They keep making money. No, you have to vote with your wallet on this. You have to not play. You have to not buy the game. I've got a friend. I can't condone piracy here, but I've got a friend who he was so thrilled.
Air quotation marks.
He was so thrilled with. He's lying. I absolutely did not make air quotations. No, I got a friend who's like he loved Shadow of Mordor. He was really into that game. But with all this stuff, he's like, I am not buying that game. I'm pirating it. I'm stealing it. I don't care. He doesn't usually pirate stuff. I know him. He doesn't usually pirate stuff, but just out of spite, and also because the game's not bad. Why did they have to do this to a great game?
They had everything
going for
it. Yeah, they had everything a good game needed. They had everything, and it was everything else that ruined it. It was the marketing, it was the PR tactics that ruined. Well, it didn't really ruin it because they made a sequel, but it ruined the reputation of Warner Brothers and Shadow of Mordor. I don't know how Shadow of War, how that reputation is going to continue. I don't even know if they're going to make a third one. I bet you they will. I bet you. Because this game's also getting great praise.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, like I don't know what Warner Brothers is.
To us, this stuff is unthinkable. Like
to us it is.
We're how old are we? 22, 23?
I'm 20. Yeah.
I just turned 24.
Okay. Okay. Well, remind me not to invite you to the bar. But to us, this stuff it's unthinkable and it ruins our reputation. But they're advertising to kids who are under 18. And I remember when I was, 15 or whatever, I was reading Game Informer and like, hey, yeah, Call of Duty, that sounds like fun. I'll pre-order it. They're primarily targeting kids here, and kids don't care. Kids aren't paying attention to this. Kids aren't watching Jim Sterling who's telling them what's best for them. And while we're on that topic, focus groups, which are part of what's kind of to me a big problem in video games right now. They focus test things to death, and the people they use in their focus tests are teenagers.
But I think that's the majority of people that are playing video games. At least they have time to have play video games. I mean,
they're the ones going to be investing the most
for better or for worse. And something as I've been aging, I've just been playing less into video games. Not just because I'm busy. They don't appeal to me as much. The games I used to love, the games that came out when I was, when I had the time, I still love those, but for some reason, less and less the games appeal to me. And I think that is because they're making the games to appeal to the current generation who will be playing them. So
yeah, that's pretty much like young kids are not going to see this controversy. It's only us, but we don't spend our money that much. We're not really frugal spenders, even though we are technically, like according to statistics, we are the most likely to spend stuff. And maybe there are friends of ours who do kind of spend that kind of stuff, and they don't really pay attention to the new.
Oh, I got a friend that spends like $100 on GTA just to buy the yacht.
There are some people like that, that's at the end. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think most gamers don't focus on the controversy. They don't really focus on the news of that kind of stuff, and they just want to play a game. As long as the game's good, they don't care. Shadow of War, people are saying it's a good game, so people are going to buy. That's that's the end goal, and that's pretty much what it's going to be. So moving on to our next story, Sony, so more specifically Sony Music. So not Sony the company in general, but Sony Music. They are they're making Sony Music release games for other consoles, including the Nintendo Switch. So Sony Music is trying to sort of go out and sort of, go into other consoles now. What do you think this means for Sony as a company?
I guess just more...
I think it means more money is what it means.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they it could also mean...
But do you think they're going to be AAA games? Do you think they're going to be like... What kind of games do you think they're going to be?
I would love to see non-Nintendo games on a Nintendo system. That would be very interesting. That is that is what we're talking about, right?
Oh, we're talking about... Well, I mean, in general, anything about this,
Just want to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard about this. But I would love to see non-Nintendo games on a Nintendo system. That would be very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Not that I dislike Nintendo. I think they're actually the only ones left with a bit of integrity at this point.
Yeah.
And uniqueness. Like, you look at Xbox and PS4, it's like, what's really the difference here?
They don't have Marios and Rabbids.
No.
Yeah. And Nintendo's the only ones who are standing out here.
Yeah.
Why buy an Xbox or a PS4 where can I just have a PC? And then I can also emulate. But if I want to play the new Zelda, I got to have a Nintendo console. That's why I have a Nintendo console and none others.
Well, I think because PlayStation, you can actually on a PC you can buy. It's like a subscription to play PlayStation games, and I mean Xbox now you can play it. So I mean,
they are
Nintendo's the only one that's still holding out.
I don't know if you guys know about how successful the Switch is, but it's actually becoming one of the most successful console launches ever. It has been.
I really want one. I
do too.
It's crazy successful. Do you think Sony is just trying to get in on that? You think that's what they're trying to do?
Probably.
Or do you think they're just trying to expand, just in general?
I think they're just trying to expand.
Or is it some sort of secret plot?
It's probably a little bit of both. I think they want a little money here, a little money there.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this too, but Sony said we do not want to make a console just like the Switch. That's what they said. They don't want their next console to be something.
They kind of already did. I mean, the PSP was it was the generation before. So,
PSP was successful. The Vita failed, and they're not going to. They say they're not going to make another one. I forgot about
the Vita. Wasn't there another one?
No. People want a Vita 2. People want a Vita 2, but I don't think they're going to go after that.
There was just an updated model for the Vita, but not
there was an updated
2.
model, but it wasn't like a full-fledged new console.
People want a Vita 2. People don't know what they want.
Yeah.
People don't know what they want.
People want Skate 3 is what they want.
Yes.
Pro Skater.
Pro Skater 6, yes.
The only reason why I say that is for the last probably 4 or 5 years on all the Instagram it's EA, right, that makes the Skate 3?
Is it? No, it's Activision.
Yeah.
On all their all the comments on their Instagram, it's like, "Where's Skate 3? Where's Skate 3?"
Oh yeah, it makes Skate, and Activision makes.
It's quite ridiculous how long it's been going. That's the only reason why I was saying it.
Wow.
Backtracking a little here.
Yeah, we got to backtrack.
I'm really surprised to hear that the Switch launch was that successful.
Honestly, I was too.
Because it came out with 2 big games, right? It had
Zelda.
No, only had one.
It was a Legend of Zelda machine. Really.
And the Mario one must be newer than I think.
Yeah, Zelda was the only game it came with.
In like 2 weeks actually.
See,
Mario Odyssey.
I live under an actual rock.
Who has? Gosh, do we know anyone that has a Switch? that's gonna buy Mario Odyssey.
I actually went to a video game bar to play it for the first.
Because like the moment the Switch the Mario Odyssey comes out, like we need to get that. We need to see that and play it.
No, I want to play it.
That's like
I'm excited.
That's just a
Mario
sidetrack.
is like the last franchise that has been consistently good.
Yeah.
You know, Sonic. What?
Sonic Forces, baby.
It's really weird though, because it's basically
you can make your own.
It's not the same game every game, but it really is.
Yeah.
You know, you play.
okay.
But the story.
No, they've innovated. What? Because. What was the Super Mario Sunshine? That was the GameCube, right?
That was the
first one
GameCube,
on the
yes.
GameCube. That was
Okay, that was a
the
great
same thing, but they innovated. They
They did innovate.
Galaxy 2.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Again,
Galaxies.
totally new system.
Yep.
I
but
think what
using the same
helped though is that
fundamentals.
they're giving a better story. They're keeping the games the same, but they're giving a better story to them each and every time. I think if they more companies went and did better stories along with them,
What went wrong with Sonic? Sonic, first of all, they made the stories progressively worse by actually having stories.
Yeah, they appealed to like the lowest common denominator for their fans,
A little
but
bit.
not in a good way. Not in a good way.
but-
Nintendo
and then-
did it in a smart way. Sega did it in like a really. I think they were just following sort of what was the trend.
Well, yeah,
I think
but
they were trying to. Okay, I think what happened was they knew that Sonic was appealing to American audiences, so they were like, "What's popular in the '90s? Oh, you know, attitude, punk, and stuff like that."
yeah.
So they just turned Sonic into like that
If you
kind
don't
of
know,
punk character.
Sonic is like when there was a war between Sega and Nintendo before they were the same thing. Sonic was Sega's response to Mario. It's like, okay, Nintendo's got this character who's selling consoles.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We've got like Bubsy. No,
Yeah, it's not they had Alex
the
Kidd. They had
but
Alex
they-
Kidd.
Right. But they so they focus tested the hell out of kids at the time.
Yeah.
And so Sonic the Hedgehog is a product of pure focus testing. It's really unreal the amount of changes he went through just to be the perfect mascot.
I mean,
And-
seriously, if Sega could have changed Sonic into just like Crazy Taxi or something like that,
no, they should have
would
made
done
it.
that.
They should have made it more of an open world like Mario did.
Well,
They did.
Did they? Oh,
they did.
They
Sonic
did in
Adventure.
Sonic Adventure.
Oh, I
actually.
guess
They
I didn't-
did.
I
It
didn't
was
see
very
that
well
one.
done.
they really struggled with the leap to 3D with Sonic, because Sonic Adventure was just a bloody mess. Not that was the first. You had Sonic. Oh, jeez, you had a couple. They were awful.
Sonic 3D Blast,
Sonic
baby.
R?
Sonic 3D Blast. Thank
Sonic
you.
3D
Sonic
Blast,
R.
baby.
God,
Yes.
those were not good games.
Yeah, Sonic went through a lot of different.
It just the transition was not good for them.
iterations.
And they kept trying to evolve it more when what they needed to do was make it more similar. Nintendo with Mario, they really got down to a formula. How much do we change the game with each progressive sequel, and how much do we remain the same? The answer: almost nothing. You add a little bit each time. You change up the story, make it progressively better, as you say. But with Sonic, they couldn't do that at all. They just failed miserably, repeatedly. I think Sonic Adventure 2 had some really, really great concepts that they just did not capitalize on. Like if you take Sonic Adventure 2 and make it just the running levels, that's a great game. That's a great game.
Yeah, like here's like I saw a video on this. Basically, like what made Mario amazing. What happened was Mario didn't change at all. It was the environment around him that changed.
That's
Yes.
totally true.
Yeah.
That's what happens in every 3D Mario game. It's not him that changes. It's always the environment around him and the objectives. The objectives almost always stay the same. It's
And the
always
abilities.
go to the end of the level or get a star, something like that. That always is like the main focus. At least with 3D Sonic games. In Sonic, the objective was always different. Oh, now you're Tails for some reason. Oh, now you're a robot. Now you're the villain. Hey, you're a villain now. Hey, you know what? Now let's go with that. You're a villain now. Hey, let's focus on Shadow's story. Shadow's story is very
man,
important.
so edgy.
Who cares
I
about
remember that
Sonic?
game.
Shadow and Rouge the Bat. That's the story we need to develop
Did
here.
anyone else play the Shadow the Hedgehog game?
No, I have it though. I need to play it because I have
played
it.
a
I
little
might as
bit.
well.
I thought it was really cool when I was like
When you were a kid,
12.
yes.
But God, what a terrible game! What a terrible concept for a game! What terrible execution for a game! Oh man, they've just made so many missteps with Sonic, and because I grew up with Sonic. Sonic was my first 2 games. Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R were my very first 2 video games. They came in a package. I remember my parents were like, hey, little Max, do you think you would like video games? I don't know. Let's get it. Okay, we have a computer now. Let's get it. That's how I was introduced to video games, and I'm still biased towards it. I still love Sonic.
So have you paid any attention to Sonic Mania?
I haven't.
Okay. What about Sonic Forces?
I was just about to say, I didn't even know that they
Sonic
came out
Forces,
with them.
it's going to be their newest 3D game.
Oh, they got Mario versus Sonic too.
What?
Like, yeah, it's the Olympic Games.
Olympic Games. Yeah, they have a lot of those. They have a ton.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Sonic, Mario at the Olympic Games. But I mean, is there anything else we want to discuss? Anything? Any last news things that you guys are looking up on your phones?
No, not very much. No,
not really. All right, so let's just end it with more like of a story. So, can you guys think of any moments? Okay, what's a game that pisses you off? What's a game that every time you play it pisses you off?
Overwatch.
Overwatch?
Oh my God.
Why Overwatch?
I love that game. It's like, to me, it's such a fantastically designed and executed game, but they've made. I mean, first of all, you bring shooter community into MOBA community, you've got a problem, because some people want to play it like Call of Duty, some people want to play it like League of Legends, or Heroes of the Storm would be more appropriate, I guess. Blizzard.
Yeah.
So what do you get? You get a lot of conflict.
That's actually a good point. I've never heard anyone bring that up before.
Well, so here's
it has
the thing.
A really bad community. I'm not gonna lie.
It's awful. It's terrible.
There's a lot of those.
Here's the worst part of it. Their competitive system. Normal MMR systems, if you win more games than you lose, you go up. But Overwatch's system, it tracks like your number of kills, your damage done, but that is totally unrepresentative of how effective you are in that game.
Yeah.
Best example, Junkrat. He's got the highest damaging projectile, your regular left click out of anyone. He can just hold it down and he's going to get gold damage, probably even gold kills no matter what. Just because, first of all, eliminations, people think I've got best top eliminations, I'm being the most effective, but that's just kill participation.
Yeah.
All you have to do is tag someone. If they die, Junkrat's terrible at chasing down kills.
Yes.
So long story short, none of these stats matter, but they're what determine your placement in ranked play. And it just makes for a game which has all this potential to be a very competitive and still fun game, but it's just endlessly frustrating for me. And I cannot play it anymore. I had to uninstall it. I'm playing MOBAs again. Can't do it.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know the type of MOBA style of like what it kind of requires, so there are basically like 5 different, there's 5 people on a team, but at the same time there's like 5 different types of classes. And here's the thing, you can pick whatever class you want. No one is forcing you to pick anything. But that means if you don't have the right classes together, you are almost going to lose and you're almost going to have a bad time, and you kind of just have to wait until 10 to 30 minutes is over. And that can be a problem unless you're playing privately with your own team. If you play privately with your own team, you're almost always going to have a good time. If you're always playing with other people you've never met, you're going to have a bad time, which kind of defeats the purpose of playing online with friends.
Isn't there a class that like everybody always picks? Like there's always somebody that nobody picks, and then there's always that one guy that's just like...
There's going to be a meta. There's always going to be a meta where like this selection of heroes or champions or whatever they're called in this particular game are going to be more powerful, and they're going to be must picks. This time I am doing it.
Yeah, there's always going to be like cool characters that people want, or that are easy to use.
In a draft,
some people don't want to use hard
scramble for them.
A great example with League of Legends, almost no one wants to be jungle. Jungle is a very difficult role to pick because it involves you just moving everywhere around the screen, making sure that every person in your lane is good and not dying. It's not fun unless you know how to play as a jungle. But you have to start somewhere. But some people never want to start, and they just want to always be top lane or always be bot lane. people want to stay in their own corner, but when you play with other people online, you have to change things up. You cannot be the same class over and over.
And this is why, like, when you go into a ranked system where you've got drafts, you know, generally the higher up you go, to some extent, the more people are going to cooperate. They're going to be
the higher rank you do go up, so it does take. So when you do start off, you are going to end up with horrible people, but as you level up, you are going to get better people, and you're going to start becoming in ranked battles, which means people are actually going to take their battles seriously. But again, that takes a long time, so there's a huge steep learning curve going on. But most of Overwatch's community is just full of low tier people.
The thing is, even Overwatch, their system, it promotes non-team play, because if you're being a team player, you're not going to get those good stats because you're doing what counts instead of just playing, you know, Call of Duty free for all or team deathmatch. But it rewards people who are playing team deathmatch, which means the ranked system is just totally. Someone think of a word we can say.
Right, you can say
it's fricked.
Fricked. Okay. There you go.
Whereas in a MOBA, if you win more than you lose, you advance.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah. All right.
Someone else talk. I'm done.
Ricardo, what game pisses you off?
If there was a game that would piss me off, I would have played it once and then forgot about it and like have it no longer in my memory.
I understand that.
So
all of my games.
Ricardo, any last words to this?
I'm not dying, Melvin.
You're not dying. You're still alive. That's great to hear.
So I'm not doing my dying last words.
That's great to hear.
But
I guess we should all come in a circle, you know, kind of like, you know, Elmo and things like that, where we learn what we talk about what we learned at the end of the day. So let's just start with you, Ricardo. 30 seconds or let's go.
Okay, so other than that, the letter of the day was E. I don't know why.
Right,
That's a good letter.
I'm gonna write this down. All right, E.
Do not
capital or lowercase.
20 seconds.
Why not a little bit of both? You know, just
okay.
Like half
so
of it is like
E capital, E lowercase. Okay,
yes,
continue.
And do not
10
pre-order from
seconds.
GameStop.
10 seconds.
Don't pre-order from GameStop. Okay, get
okay.
No, I don't know about that extra mission. I don't know. I want maybe just don't pre-order. You can buy it later.
E
and time.
Okay, awesome. You got it in time. All right, there you go.
Don't.
All right, what letter of the day? What? You gotta say what letter you learned today. And,
the letter of the day.
The lesson
7.
you learned. All right, 7. All right, 7. Capital or lowercase. All right. Continue. What did you learn today?
Gothic font 7.
All right.
What did I learn today?
Yeah, what did you learn today from this?
I'm not quite sure what he's talking about.
Stupid. Don't pre-order video games.
Don't pre-order video games.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
Okay.
You're gonna pre-order from Amazon with Prime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that.
All right. What have you learned today, Pearce?
You know, on that note, I think pre-ordering on Amazon for the extra 20% off is the way to go.
Yeah. Only pre-order if you get a deal.
Do you have, like, while we're at it? Do you have a
letter of the day?
What do you call it?
Yeah. What's your letter of the day?
You buy something with someone's
a gift card, someone else's credit card.
There's a promotion you can do.
Or refer a friend. Is it refer a friend?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh no, wait. Are you talking about? Oh, gosh, what is it called? Something.
Amazon Associates.
Associates. Where if someone uses your refer link to buy something, you get $5.
Right. We need one of those for the podcast. All of our listeners will be all over this.
I mean, there's nothing stopping us from putting our own links in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They all just come for me anyway.
Yeah.
It may be my first podcast.
All right. Remember, buy stuff using our link from Amazon. That's our lesson for today. All right. My lesson is you don't need to be a AAA developer to sell 1 million copies. Literally anyone can do it. If a dude with I don't know how much Undertale got from Kickstarter, but if a dude can make Undertale almost by himself, single-handedly, I think anyone can be a successful game designer. And he didn't even do it with, he didn't even like know how to code. He taught himself how to code. Yeah. He used like this software that I think it's like around $100, and you can make your own game. Anyone can do that. Almost anyone can do it. So yeah, don't let these high games, don't let these like games like Assassin's Creed say, oh, maybe I can't be a game developer because then I would need to know all these physics and things like that, or how to code. Brother. You know, you don't need that. You don't need
Hallelujah.
that. Just make a game about cups.
And praise the Lord.
Make a game about cups, and you'll sell millions. The secret was the cups. That's the secret.
The next game's gonna be about spoons.
All right, so let's sign out. Let's do our sign out for today.
Ricardo.
Max.
Pearce.
And I'm Melvin. And until next time.
Melvin.
Are you Melvin?
I am Melvin.
I'm not.
I mean, you're Pearce.
Goodbye, everyone.